So, with that being said, I was also wondering when we discuss download, and especially when we, look at the media and their portrayal of this, whole new download thing, since it's been going on since the beginning of time. But to me, what are your feelings about it? As far as like black versus white, do you think that the media has tried to put a black face to a problem that is also prevalent in the white community as well? Because I noticed so many times when you hear that term, like, okay, when you hear a white man, it's just like, oh, they're just in the closet, and it's not a big deal. But like when it's demonized, there's always a black face to it. So, what are your feelings on that?
But you're absolutely right. Like, when people get the word download, they automatically see and think of black men.
Mm-hmm.
However, download is just not. I mean, people, I think, are smarter or should be smarter to know. Download is not just regulated to the black community. The white man, Asian man, Hispanic man, Indian, like every other culture and lifestyle of men or women. And again, download is nothing. It's not a color, but it is an act
Right.
of deception for someone who's actively doing something to deceive someone else and to believe in something else.
Right.
So, however, it's been attached and labeled to the black community because I think, the New York Times, when they first did their first article, because they did the breakout article about it in 2004, the Village Voice did it as well, and they talked about these men who had girlfriends who looked like, normal, everyday, or regular street thugs, hardcore young men with the pants sagging, the Timberland boots, or the gangsters, so they had the t-shirts, and they go and say, sneaking to the club, or they're sneaking to meet and have sex with other men and deceiving their girlfriends, and that imagery stuck with, because when they did the article, it was the imagery of talking about men. So America just took that imagery and ran with it. Then JLK came out with his book, talking about it. He's on Oprah, and it just made it just real for a lot of people. Like, wow, black men are doing that, and I realizing that no, everyone is doing it. Every culture, lifestyle, culture, ethnicity are doing it, participating in it. So now it's difficult to change that perception.
So
it's been so ingrained in people's heads and minds for so long.
Mm-hmm. So when we're dealing with download, as far as the women are concerned, and I know you probably get this question a whole lot, get this question a great deal, but like, what signs can you give women? What should women do, especially when they're dating someone? Because I know personally, some of the most straightest acting men could, sneak around and do this. So what are some of the, the signs that you can tell women to protect themselves against this? How should they approach their man if they feel that this is something that they're doing? And what is the importance of them doing this? What is the importance of them researching this guy's past and, getting tested and things of that nature? Since we do have a high rate of HIV in our community, what is the importance of women researching that, and what kind of tips you can give them? First of all, I think they need to read the book. I really suggest them to read the book, but what can you give personally that would help them with this?
Well, unfortunately, there are no signs to identifying a download man, and I get that question all the time. Like, what's some of the signs? Like, is there a code?
Yeah.
Is there a handshake? Is there a secret color? No, there's nothing. I mean, it's very difficult. I think the women have to trust their instincts and their intuition. I mean, a lot of women who said, there's just something not right, or they've had suspicions, and I said, trust your instincts. If that's what you feel, and you question him and he denies it, you have a choice to whether or not you can stay in that relationship or not.
Right.
And, you don't want to accuse someone of doing something you don't have any proof.
Yeah.
But if your instincts and your intuition are just that strong, and you suspect him of doing something, then I suggest you leave. I think women should always continue to protect themselves no matter what. Even men, and I think it's very deceptive of down low men to do that to women. That's why, especially married men, and men who have women with children, it's very deceptive, and it's a lifestyle, that you are putting women at risk and being very deceiving in what you do. So women should continuously protect themselves with condoms. I don't care who your partner is. I don't care how long you've known him or how long you feel comfortable with him. Use a condom. Like, especially if you're with someone and you're not committed to that person or you're not married to that person. But I always say to women, my biggest suspicions have always come from men who are in and out of prison and they spend long stints in prison at a time.
Yeah.
Because there's this term that's called gay for play. Gay for stay. And these are men who are gay while they're in prison, meaning that they have sex with other men while they're in prison, and once they leave prison, they no longer have sex with men. Because it's part of the prison culture. And women also have to realize, gay for stay, and men who are having sex in prison, condoms are contraband, meaning that they're not allowed inside of a prison. So these men are having unprotected sex inside of prison. And so once he leaves prison, he comes back home and he's laid up with his woman, having unprotected sex with her. So I tell women to be very mindful, be very careful. And, if your man has been in and out of prison and he's going back in 2 years or 3 years, however long he's going, that's something that will put a red light on for me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I always tell women, monitor, it's like you don't want to become like a detective or, but if your man has several different phones, cell phones, and you only have the number to one, I'll be curious just to know, like, why do I only have the number to one of your phones? If I'm your woman, and, we've been together all the time, and I didn't even know you had a second phone or a third phone, like, I'd be curious to know why.
Right.
Down low men have gotten very much more savvier because they know women know what to look for. They start looking for different clues. Because I know one of my friends who was on the down low, instead of putting a man's name in his phone, he'll put a woman's name next to the phone, the number, just to throw the woman off. Or he'll just put an initial, or he may put cuz, or bruh. The woman, going to his phone may not, to her she won't think anything about it, but that's a code for him, like he knows who to go to on his phone. I always tell women, if a man introduces you to several different men, within the trip, like if your man is constantly introducing you to different men every other month or every couple of months,
you never see the other
and then those men are never around again.
Yeah.
I would be curious to know, like, what happened, because
such and such, yeah.
That guy.
That's kind of suspicious anyway. I mean, so yeah, that would seem kind of suspicious. I mean, if this is a friend, first of all, you call somebody a friend. I mean, to me, when I think of a friend, I think of someone that, hey, I'm gonna be familiar with this person because they come around on a constant basis. But if you're seeing this person for such a short period of time, I guess that would be a red flag.
Because I've been the friend that guys were introduced to their girlfriend. Oh, this is my boy. He worked in the entertainment industry. I was always the boy. Yep. But it was only I'll only be around for meet the girl maybe once or twice, a couple of times. After that, I'd never see her again. But the introduction makes her feel like, oh, well, that's one of his boys. If he's saying he's hanging out with Terrence, she's not thinking anything about it because she met me. But then she hasn't seen me, or
right.
Like after 3 months or 6 months, I don't see her anymore. So she's gonna question, oh, what happened to your boy Terrence? Like, you never talk about him anymore.
Yeah.